Because some journeys are better taken together.
Let's walk the talk. 7:02.
Winter is traditionally a quieter period for many sections of the tourism and hospitality industry. But how has the sector actually performed during this year's winter season? Joining us is Leanne Singer. Leanne, you are the chairperson of FEDHASA here in the Cape. A very good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Thanks for welcoming us here.
It's usually the time when some of our best restaurants offer what's called winter specials, and then you go to establishments that you would not even think of going to go and stay for a weekend in some of the best parts of South Africa, because they have these specials that are trying to attract, obviously, South Africans to come and enjoy patronage. How has this winter gone?
It's honestly been a mixed bag. It started slow. But then it picked up faster than we expected. So June was quite slow. July started off slow, but then gained some momentum. And certainly anecdotal evidence at this stage is suggesting that August is going to end well. International arrivals are back up, right? South Africa's overseas numbers are currently up nearly 6% year on year for the first half of the year, which excludes the greater part of winter, right? And these figures are sitting at just under about 94% of pre-pandemic levels. But here's the interesting fact. Domestic travel has actually gone backwards this winter. So Cape Town's domestic terminal traffic was down between 6 and 9% for April, May, and June. We don't have the other stats yet. So it's really a story of two markets moving in opposite directions.
Well, I imagine those months of April, May, and June is when there was a surcharge in the price of tickets because of the conflict in the Middle East. I'm one of those people, for example, Leanne, who was planning to fly up to Joburg with my nephew, saw what price I was being quoted, and then opted to rather get into my car and drive with my nephew and include my cousin. So I still went on the trip up to Joburg, had a wonderful 5 nights, and certainly, did the tourist experience, because ultimately both him and the twin cousins were in Gauteng for the first time. So it was a lovely, lovely time. But I definitely thought, I'm not going to pay that amount for just 2 tickets when it's going to be cheaper for me to just pour fuel into my car. I imagine more South Africans did that, right?
Yes, and those stats are harder to track, right? We can only track that contrasting to what did not show up at the airport. It's always hard for us to track, road travelers as an example. But if the story you painted now painted such a beautiful picture, because it allowed you to experience so many other parts of the country that you would have just flown over and perhaps never touched ground on. So road trips have such a great impact on the smaller communities that would perhaps traditionally not benefit from the tourism market.
Do you, from the data you have, any sort of sense as to why then the latter half of winter has seen good business? So what has happened that made South Africa an attractive destination again?
I believe it's largely due to the conflict in the Middle East. So travelers who would traditionally have traveled there in the Middle East or have chosen South Africa. One of the big pluses is the addition of additional flights and new airlines. So that's always the biggest boost for any destination, is if we can get travelers here very easily. And there were extra flights added to, for example, Emirates added extra flights from July, which was a huge boost, because that's a great connector hub. And our city's gone on a very active marketing campaign, right? You were our MC at the Invest Cape Town events with Alderman James Force. So we're on a roadshow. We're telling the globe that we are not only open for visitors, but we're open for business. And that certainly has created a lot of demand for Cape Town. And we're seeing visitors from all around the world. Our international traveling is being held up by markets like the UK, Germany, Netherlands, and then our local neighbors who are visiting our country. But an interesting fact is our neighboring countries higher up, Kenya and Tanzania, they are up 145% and more than 150%, Kenya and Tanzania respectively, to their pre-pandemic levels, right? And South Africa is not quite there yet. We're at about 90% of recovery pre-pandemic. Now, we believe that there's one major factor that's contributing, and that is we've not recovered and we've not actively courted the India and China markets. And those are massive markets to any economy. Such huge populations. If you can get 1% of those visitors, it's life-changing on the ground for a tourism business.
Well, we saw some inroads, I suppose, to making traveling to South Africa easier. We know that the visa regime is being looked at and reviewed regularly, and the industry, at least, is very welcoming of some of the interventions that have been made. And the president launching the ETA at OR Tambo, which hopefully would make the getting in and getting out of the country a lot more, from an experience point of view, a lot more easier. I imagine those things matter, don't they, Leanne?
Yes, 100%, because you market a destination, right? So you say, come visit us. So then we need to make it easy for them to get here. So that's logistically and administratively. So we are very excited about the visa reforms. We're very excited about programs like West Coast Air Access Program. And our new Minister of Home Affairs has the impact that he's had on tourism is just immeasurable in terms of the different reforms. Last year we launched the Trusted Tour Operator Scheme, which was specifically to try and court business from India and China, where if you are a tour operator, you have sort of a hot desk, a smart desk within the Department of Home Affairs, where they will bulk handle your applications. But that unfortunately has not seen the impact that it has, but certainly all the indicators are in place on paper to really move tourism. And remember, tourism is certainly for us working in the business. This is the way for us to fight the massive unemployment stats that we have. There are very few barriers to entry when you consider a job in tourism, and it's relatively low skilled. So it can be a home for so many people who currently do not sit with formal employment yet.
Absolutely. All right. So I don't know how many weeks are left of winter. I suppose it's another month or so.
Today it feels like a lot.
It does, doesn't it? What should your sector be doing to take full advantage of what is left of this winter season?
Well, the one little gift that nature gave us was our early flower season, right? And that's great for local and domestic tourism. So if I was a business in close to any of our beautiful nature reserves and where there are beautiful flowers, I would certainly tell my audiences about that. I would encourage them to visit. It's something that happens for a very short period of time. It's an incredible scenic beauty, and that is something that I would push. And I would get myself ready for season, right? We know these cycles, so I would gear up to make myself as service and season ready as possible by making sure I've got the right staff in place, by making sure that I've got my contingency plans, I've got my teams, my rooms are fresh and clean, my equipment's been serviced, to make sure that you can make the most of the upcoming season.
All right. Leanne, thank you very much for your time and your insights this morning. Always lovely to chat to you. Leanne Singer is the chairperson of FEDHASA Cape. Slow start to the winter season, but we have seen some numbers trickling up in the right direction in the latter half of it.